Great. Okay. Hey, kia ora koutou, Health Select Committee. I'm John from Essential Touch NZ Limited. I'm a co-owner and director. I talk separately, personally, on the issue of food sovereignty, right to choose, coexistence of problems, communities' rights, including local council regulation, compensation, liability, and New Zealand's long history of importing pests with unintended consequences, both intended release and accidental releases. So today, I'll be more focused on the economic ramifications of this bill. Seems to be the only thing that is important to this government. I've been in business for 25 years. Our business has been in business for 25 years. We're in over 700 stores nationwide, including almost all Woolworths and most foodstuff stores. We make an outdoor skincare range of cosmetics. Our products are Nature Certified Natural, a rigorous international standard developed in Europe and administered here in New Zealand by BioGrow New Zealand. All our ingredients must be certified GMO-free to maintain our certification. Our ingredients include certified organic beeswax from Central Otago and wild-crafted Manuka essential oil from the East Cape. It's hard to imagine how our beeswax would be able to maintain that status if, for example, there was a GM alfalfa release where the bees were pollinating the alfalfa in the area of our, where the beeswax comes from. Foraging bees pollinating a variety of plants will also contaminate the Manuka. Any ability of us to source our pure, sustainable ingredients jeopardise our entire business and the 25 years of work that we've put into it. Our products source ingredients from both New Zealand and overseas, and our products are wholly designed and manufactured in New Zealand. Our products are sought after in New Zealand and around the world. Tourists are introduced to our products as they travel around New Zealand, and our products are premium even in grocery. Travellers looking for an authentic, sustainable and healthy New Zealand gravitate to our products. Our business is also certified B Corp. Certified B Corporations are leaders in the global movement for an inclusive, equitable and regenerative economy. This is where the world is going. This is where there's an opportunity to add value, and as well as making the world a better place. Our products also carry the Fern Mark, and this is from Fern Mark. The Fern Mark license program helps promote and protect New Zealand products and services on a global scale. The program gives licensees the right to carry the Fern Mark, a trademark that is used by New Zealand government departments across the world. The Fern Mark represents the story of who we are and where we're from, our New Zealand story. It's a symbol that people recognise and trust. A trademark that embodies ko tikitanga, manaki, tiaki, and pono, the values of our New Zealand story. The Fern Mark is brand New Zealand, and I believe the Gene Tech Bill will irreversibly damage New Zealand's brand and by association all the businesses that shelter under that brand. The Gene Tech Bill is incompatible with the aspirations above I just spoke about. It is the intangible effect on our overall brand that will no longer come from pure New Zealand, and that the Fern Mark no longer means as much in the eyes of the world's consumers. One of the world's most admired and longest running destination tourism campaigns, Tourism New Zealand's 100% Pure New Zealand brand has just turned 25. This is also wholly reliant on New Zealand's environmental and food reputation. I understand that New Zealand has other environmental issues such as pollution, microplastics in the environment, and in some places poor water quality, but all of those are solvable. If you wholesale release GM crops and pasture into the New Zealand environment, you will catastrophically and irreversibly ruin the environment and food system here in New Zealand forever. It will make a mockery of 100% pure New Zealand. Our food system, our environment, is core to who we are and the image we wish to convey to the rest of the world. To date, the most successful GM crops are canola, corn and soy. They are mass-produced, pesticide-laden, cheap calories that dominate the American food system and are associated with extremely poor health outcomes, of which various cancers, obesity and diabetes are the most obvious. Is this what we want for New Zealand? This is not the New Zealand that tourists would come here for. And just a couple of points from Fonterra in their release. Our organic business is strong overall. I'll skip that part. The cooperative's organic sales forecast is up 25% compared to last year on kilos per milk solid basis, and contracted sales are in a strong position for this time of season. Organic consumers are prepared to pay a significant premium for products they believe to be healthier and more sustainable. Our pasture-based farming in New Zealand offers a real point of difference that helps us contribute to our co-op strategy and maximise the value for our shareholders' milk. Fonterra Organics program has been running since 2002. Over the past 4 years, the program has more than doubled in size and currently has over 100 farms. Global demand is growing as consumers are prepared to pay a premium for organic products. According to a recent Euromonitor report, the global organic dairy market is currently valued at around 23 billion and is expected to reach 65 billion by 2033. So New Zealand's reputation for clean, safe and GMO-free products is a competitive advantage in the global markets. Deregulation will damage the New Zealand brand. Licensing GE rules could put this advantage at risk. Loosening GE rules could put this advantage at risk, especially for organic and high-value exports. The New Zealand Institute of Economic Research estimates that New Zealand's primary sector exports could be reduced by 10 to 20 billion annually if GMOs released into the environment. According to a recent NZTE International Consumer Survey, trust and safety are considered the key purchasing drivers for global consumers when looking to buy products and services. Australia and the UK and Singapore are particular countries where products made from New Zealand hold a strong reputation as trusted and safe. Consumer groups from around the world, including Japan and the Philippines, have expressed their horror and dismay that New Zealand will deregulate gene technology. The Gene Technology Bill fails to properly protect New Zealand Inc. from major commercial exposures, strategic gaming by offshore competitors and losses arising from accident or malintent. The state's neglect would include economic impacts being excluded from consideration, no liability for harm, highly discriminatory legal rights, frequent overrides of good regulatory practice and no genuine regulatory independence. Perhaps the most extraordinary part is that for all effort being made to shelter outdoor users from commercial realities, the biggest threat to them in the country in the economy is beyond Parliament's control. That threat is the high level of consumer resistance to GMO foods internationally that have persisted for 30 years. For example, more than 3 times as many consumers think GMO food is unsafe to eat as those who think it is safe, on average, according to 20 country Pewter Research Centre polls. And in no country surveyed were there more who think it is safe than unsafe. As a result, consumers vote overwhelmingly for GM content to be labelled. For example, IPOS polling Ipsos polling showed 86% of EU consumers favour labelling of GMO food made from GMO crops and 81% of food made from animals fed with GMO crops. Monsanto famously once said that when they were asked about GMO labelling, that putting GMO labelling on their food would be like putting a skull and crossbones on it. That's because of the way that consumers would view it. Okay, so if that's the case, why are we even going there? Yet prior to this bill being framed, the government failed to properly scope the risks, let alone model them with no cost-benefit analysis done. So the bill has been constructed with literally no estimate of what level of economic benefits its skewed treatment of gene tech would generate, and so no idea of what it might be trading a way to get that. And with food making up a majority of our export income, the potential impacts of consumer resistance to GMO food is clearly a matter of national economic importance. Given that money talks for this government and any other jurisdiction, the cold hard numbers is what they care about. That is why it is so hard to understand why they're hell-bent on introducing a poorly thought out and dangerous bill. It's clear its architecture comes from extensive lobbying and insider development from the biotech industry. It reads like a wish list for...
Careful on making accusations like that, John. Your presentation's been really good, but please don't make such insinuations. And I just know Steve has a question as well, if you want to give him a moment. Thank you.
I'll just finish. Can I? Okay, I'll pick up paragraph. So our business opposes... so yeah, I'm just saying that the economic goal of... This is an economic own goal of biblical proportions, and the government will become a pariah to all future governments and generations if it is allowed to proceed. Our business opposes the gene tech bill in its entirety and recommends it abandoned. Current regulations, including the HASNO, have effectively protected the environment, along with local community regulation and the councils that have put GMO regulation in place, particularly in the north down to the south of Auckland. If the bill is not abandoned, the consultation process must be extended by at least 6 months to allow sufficient time for public consultation, given its complexity and various ramifications. Further, if it is not abandoned, the bill should be split into one for medical use and contained lab and field trials, and the other to regulate commercial release with robust provisions for economic benefit, liability insurance, labelling, environmental protection, and so forth. Thank you.
Thank you. We're over time, but Steve, go for it. You had a hand up for a while.
I really appreciate it. Look, my quick question is probably an attempt to summarise your point. You would say that we have, in the course of the last 30 years, by having a cautious approach to GMO, not actually a ban, but a very cautious regulatory approach, locked in the true advantage and shown the wisdom of us leading into that reputation for being a natural and clean green food producer, and we should be very hesitant to throw that away.
Yeah, that's correct. I think the regulation has allowed the organic and our sustainable agriculture industry to develop further and become a point of difference around the world. It's trusted. So yeah, there's a huge risk to all of that work we've done over the last 30 years if we wholesale deregulate.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, John, for your presentation today, for joining.
Finally, a question, and going over time to get that question.
Yes, well, I mean, he had a lot to say. I mean, my oral submission was an addition to my actual submission. So it wasn't anything that I'd actually put into my submission. It was extra stuff. But this, like what the people are coming up with here, must be the base of their submissions.
Yeah. It's.
I mean, just think, he was talking about the beeswax. So we mentioned the bees before, and he mentions the beeswax would no longer be organic. And I mean, and he started off talking about liability. I mean, you know that no insurance companies will touch this.
No.
Well, I mean, that tells you a lot, because
yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, who would actually touch the insurance?
Yeah. So that then falls upon the local government, probably, and some areas anyway are already GE free, Northland, or the far north, and Bay of Plenty, I believe. So that's going to mess up things there too. And he talks about Brand New Zealand, and Brand New Zealand is clean, green, and GE free, and the Fern mark means that. And so that, I mean, that is a label in itself. But the other thing that concerns me is the labeling in the food, because our food, if this bill goes ahead in its current form, we won't be allowed to have our food labeled as to whether it's GE or not.
Yeah. And
that's atrocious. Absolutely. Invasion of people's personal choice. I just wondered if this is an appropriate time to read you. I've got in at Parliament, in the Parliamentary Petitions Committee at the moment, a petition which will be coming out, and the title of which is Halt the Gene Technology Bill and Set Up a Commission of Inquiry. So the request is that the House of Representatives halt the progress of the Gene Technology Bill and instead set up a commission of inquiry into the health and safety of people and the environment on behalf of citizens, to allow time for wider community and stakeholder consultation. And the reason being that Gene Technology Bill fails to follow sound and fair processes by not consulting enough with the public and other stakeholders. There is inadequate consideration of T2T obligations and no requirement to take a precautionary approach to protect people and the environment from the risks of GE contamination. A range of gene editing techniques have been excluded from regulation. Now that's really important. This means GE products would enter the environment and food supply untested, unregistered, and unlabeled. So the closing date will be the 1st of June because we want to get it in there before the second reading. And so that hopefully in the next couple of days, I'll be able to get that out.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers
And we'll
crossed.
be happy to share it.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed to our Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok.